You guys finished your scissors so quickly. So are you ready for more? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and I'm just amazed. Seriously, I started our Oh So Delightful So Happy quilt with 4 blocks, thinking I'll have a little bit of time to work on the other projects, and you guys just jammed on it. Oh my goodness, no stopping you. So we did the first 4 blocks, which were the scissors, and so that means it's time to move on. You guys are doing so great. So today I've got a little challenge for you, just a little, and optional always. So we are going to start on page 11. We are going to do the So Happy block, but I think we'll add something in. So let's talk about So Happy. All right, So Happy is on page 11, and really easy one. You know it's an easy one when the packet looks like this. There's like almost nothing in it, right? There's 1 fabric and 1 batting. That's it. So a nice easy one. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need for this. So Happy on page 11. So the fabric, this is so cute. It is white with very light gray doodles, almost like the doodles fabric, but I think it's different. It's very cute with little flowers all over it. All right, and we are going to start with this at 8.5 by 6.5. So that means it's this way. 8.5 by 6.5 for our main fabric. Make sure to back this with Fusible stabilizer, not only because it's a good size fabric, but also because it's white, right? You don't want anything else showing up on it. So Fusible stabilizer on the back. I'm using the Kimberbell Fusible backing. All right. And then we have batting. So because we're going to quilt this, we have our batting. So our final cut size must be, I'm assuming 4.5 by 6.5. Yep, 6.5 by 4.5. So our batting is 5 by 7. 5 by 7 for your batting, or 7 by 5 as it is really. All right, for your batting. So we are going to quilt this with Zigzag 2. It is in the bundle for the quilting for Oh So Delightful. Zigzag 2 in a 4 by 6. That will be super cute. So both files will be centered in the hoop. There's one thing, somebody posted in our group and asked about this information that's on here. So what it says on page 11 up at the top, it says the minimum jump stitch length may need to be adjusted on your machine, or the auto trimming may need to be turned off while stitching this design, as there are some long stitches in the design. So I'm going to run with it and see how it goes, and then I'll let you know if it's a problem. You know your machine better, and there are tons of different machines, so I can't really say which ones are going to have a problem, which ones are not. My assumption is it's going to be completely fine. I don't think it'll be a problem. This is basically a motif design. So actually my shirt so my shirt that I'm wearing today is a motif design. It's very similar, and I've never had a problem. I've done several motif design shirts and never had a problem, and never had to adjust my jump stitch length. So I think it'll be fine, but just know that there is that warning up at the top here where it says note, and then it talks about this. So you'll have to watch your machine and see how it does, and go from there to adjust accordingly, but I think it will be perfectly fine. All right, so this is a really easy one, so I'm thinking we should do more. I bet you're agreeing, right? We want to get this one further along so that I can work on red, white, and blue a little bit. So red, white, and blue. All right, so for So Happy, like I said, we're going to do the So Happy block that's on page 11, but I'm thinking we should do the first of the filler blocks as well. All right, the border blocks or filler blocks, whatever you call them. So the filler blocks are shown on page 30 of our booklet, and once we get those, once we finish the filler blocks, we're going to have all of section 1 already done on our second video. That's crazy. Pretty cool. There are 8 filler blocks though, and I already took a look at it and tried to determine what will work, and so I'm going to bring you over to the machine the computer to show you how you can merge them together and how that works to be able to do filler blocks. So I want to point out a few things. I mentioned in the prep video that I highly recommend doing the filler blocks a 1/2 inch larger than what is in the book. I really recommend that. And then on the guide that I made for you that has the batting cutting guide, the filler blocks and the batting will be the same size. All right, since you're cutting the filler blocks a 1/2 inch larger, the batting and the filler block will be the same size, and they're all listed on the right hand side of the batting cut guide that I made for you. So let's quickly go over these. I don't know if I have them in order. That would have been smart. Oh, I think I did. Look at that. Oh, I do. On it more than I realized. All right, so the first one is going to be this pink with pink flowers on it. It's a very light pink, or almost like a mauve pink. And we are going to start with this one at let's see, 3 by 3. So we're going to use, I'll tell you the quilting design for each one as we go, but I'll also do that when we get to the computer, because that will be really easy. All right, so on this one, this is filler block number 1, and we're going to start with the fabric and the batting at 3 by 3. If you already pre-cut before I did the prep video and you did it to 2.5 by 2.5, which is what it says in the directions, that's fine. Don't worry, it's fine. All that means is that when you put down, we do that first, the placement stitch for the batting, and then we do the tack down stitch of the batting, and then the placement stitch, this is for the quilting design, the placement stitch for the main fabric and the tack down of the main fabric. This will not tack down if you have it at 2.5 by 2.5, because that tack down is exactly that size, so it will not tack down. And that's the whole purpose of why I suggest that we cut them a 1/2 inch larger. Then it will tack down, and it just makes it easier to hold it in place and to not get the edges frayed off from using tape. But really, you may not even need to tape them. I usually don't anyway, because the batting holds them in place pretty well. So whatever works for you. If you already pre-cut before I did the prep video, 2.5 by 2.5 will work, but my recommendation is 3 by 3 if you haven't already, or if you got to see the prep video before you cut. So 3 by 3 for this first one. We are going to use the quilting design Zigzag 2. Zigzag 2, that's the same one that we're using for So Happy, in fact, I believe. So anyway, Zigzag 2 in a 2 by 2 quilting design. All right, and then when we're all done with our cut with all of our filler blocks, we will cut them down using the tack down stitch, as long as we backed them well. So I do back all of my filler blocks with Fusible stabilizer. It makes it so that they're not going to pull in from the stitching. So when you do your final cuts, make sure to check that it's the right size. You don't want to get this far into it and find that the filler blocks are a little bit too small, because everything fits together right when we have it the right size. Okay, so that's one thing, is like I said, I do back mine. It's not going to pull in, it's not going to change the size, but I still check it just to make sure. So check these. Our final cut size will be 2.5 by 2.5, and if you started it that way, that will work too. And I do recommend backing it with Fusible stabilizer, though. If you pre-cut it to the size recommended in the book, and if that stitching pulls in at all, it will be the size will be off. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so number 1, 3 by 3 for both the fabric and the batting, and Zigzag 2 in a 2 by 2 quilting design. That's for filler block number 1. Filler block number 2 is that same fabric, but in a teal. Yep, a teal. And this one, same thing. So 3 by 3 for the fabric and for the batting. Both of them are 3 by 3. And this one, we are going to use radial lines 2. Radial lines 2 for our quilting on this one. All right. In a 2 by 2, did I say that? Radial lines 2 in a 2 by 2 for this 3 by 3 fabric. Okay. And then for number 3, filler block number 3 is this yellow with shapes on it. And this one, we are going to start with this at 5 by 5. So that means that in the book it said 4.5 by 4.5, and like I said, that will work, but I prefer doing them a 1/2 inch larger. So I've got it at 5 by 5 along with the batting also, 5 by 5 for both the fabric and the batting. This is for number 3. And this one, sorry, I'm changing out my book here. This one we're going to use Hearts 5. That will be super cute. Hearts 5 in a 4 by 4 design. All right, Hearts 5 in 4 by 4 design. And I'm going to show you how to bring a bunch of these into 1 hooping or 2 hoopings, depending on your hoop size, and something else. All right, so on this one, this is number 4. I'm calling it the Starburst. I don't know why, but I think it looks like a Starburst. I think it's really cute. So this one, we are going to start with it at 3 by 3. If you already pre-cut, again, it would be 2.5 by 2.5, and that's fine. But my recommendation is 3 by 3. And we are going to use Geometric 7 for our quilting design in a 2 by 2. All right, Geometric 7 in 2 by 2. The batting and the fabric, I recommend at 3 by 3 or 2.5 by 2.5 will work. That was for number 4. Number 5 is the yellow lines. Now notice this is a directional fabric, so we're going to have to pay attention to how we put it down on our hoop. So this is number 5, and again, 3 by 3 is my recommendation. 2.5 by 2.5 will work. Both the batting and the fabric in 3 by 3 preferably. And then we are going to use Hobby 6. That's my favorite one of the quilting bundle. I really like the Hearts one. The Hearts one is super cute, but I think Hobby 6 is just a good overall design that you could use on a lot of things, especially for all of these projects that are for our craft room. So very fun. Hobby 6 in a 2 by 2. If I recall, I think that's going to be scissors on it. That will be really cute. I'm probably going to use thread colors that will stand out on these, on the filler blocks. Some of them are pretty busy fabrics, so it's up to you. In the guide, they tell you to use basically the same color as the fabric, and you can absolutely do that, or you can stretch yourself a little bit and have it be something that will stand out a little bit more. Completely up to you. All right, sorry, Hobby 6 in a 2 by 2 quilting design. All right, that's for number 5. And then let's see, for number 6 is a big one. So number 6, this one is a 5 by 5. So that means the original size is 4.5 by 4.5. So if you already pre-cut, that's fine. If not, I recommend 5 by 5, and the batting also is at 5 by 5. I just have it together. They're not attached yet. We will do this separately. So 5 by 5 for your batting, 5 by 5 for your fabric, and we are going to quilt this one with zigzag 2 in a 4 by 4. Zigzag 2 in a 4 by 4. So see, that will actually be nice because it's a busier fabric. I like that. Zigzag 2. All right, that's number 6. And then for number 7, we have the gray. Now this is that one that is directional fabric, so we'll have to pay attention to how we put it down on the hoop. So gray stripes, and we're going to use this one for Hearts 5 in a 2 by 2 design. Hearts 5 in 2 by 2 is our quilting design. All right, and again, I'm starting with it at 3 by 3, and my batting also is at 3 by 3. Fabric and batting. If you did your if you already pre-cut, then 2.5 by 2.5, but you still would do your batting at 3 by 3. All right, because we will trim it down after that second step. Is it the second step? After the second step of the quilting, when we tack down the batting, we will trim it anyway. So 3 by 3 on your batting, preferably 3 by 3 on the fabric. 2.5 by 2.5 will work if you jumped ahead and did it before we did the prep video. Either way will be fine. All right, and then Hearts 5 in a 2 by 2. And then the last one, number 8. This is going to be, look at how cute that is. That's so pretty with the blues flowers. I like that, blues and like a green. This one, again, 3 by 3 is my recommendation. 2.5 by 2.5 will work. Your batting for sure, 3 by 3 for your batting. And this one, we are going to quilt this in radial lines 2 in a 2 by 2. Radial lines 2 in a 2 by 2. All right, so those are all of the filler blocks. So I already checked, and they will easily fit in a 10 by 10 hoop because we don't have a whole lot of extra fabric. We have a 1/2 inch extra at most. Some don't have even any overlap, so these will fit together. You could probably, I haven't tried this yet, but I'm pretty certain that you could do this so happy, depending on your hoop size. Of course, all of this is depending on your hoop size. But if you have that big 10 by 16 hoop, I bet you could fit all of these filler blocks and the So Happy block all together in one hooping. So there's your challenge. I want to see. Let me know if you're going to do that. I think it's very doable, actually. Or super simple, do this one in a 5 by 7 hoop. Very easily, 5 by 7 hoop. It looks a little big, but that's because there's extra fabric. The final cut size was 4.5 by 6.5, if I recall. So that means you could definitely do this block in a 5 by 7 hoop, and then you could do the filler blocks all in one hooping, or a couple of hoopings. You could do the 2 big 4 by 4 ones, and then do all those little 2 by 2 ones. Either way, whatever's going to work for you and your hoop size. But I'm going to show you how to merge them together. So let's go ahead and try that. Hey everyone, so I am at my computer now, and I am going to show you how to merge the filler blocks together, and possibly even that So Happy block together, depending on your hoop size. So I am going to start by opening up Embrilliance Essentials. And the sun is going down, but I did not turn on my light because it makes this weird thing. So we'll have to do this quickly so we do it before I'm all in the dark. So opening up Embrilliance Essentials, and I'm on my 10 by 10 hoop. That's what I already tested, and it works great in a 10 by 10, but I didn't try bringing in the So Happy block. So I'm going to change it to my 10 by 16. I'm pretty certain you could also do this in a 9 by 14 hoop, or you could do some in a 8 by 12 and some in 6 by 10, you know, whatever works for you. But I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's see, I think I'll change my hoop size. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get them all in one. Let's try. All right, so I'm going to go to this preferences folder. Don't forget, right down here at the bottom, you can see your hoop size that you're on. So I'm going to go up here to preferences folder, and I'm on my 10 by 10 hoop. So I am going to look for my 10 by 16 hoop right there. It's the 272 millimeter by 408 millimeter, and say okay. And then I always like to go to this compass button and click on the H so that I can see all of my hoop. You saw that that changed. All right, so I'm going to start with the filler blocks. So the way that I'm going to do it, a little bit different. So you will have to, doing it this way, you will have to keep track of which fabrics go where, all right, to go with the quilting designs. So keep that in mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 2 4x4s first. I think that that will make it the easiest to fit everything in that way. So if you just do the 2 4x4s and then do the 2x2s all in order, you should be fine. So I'm going to go to this merge stitch file button right here, click on that, and the first one that we're going to look for is the 4x4. It's in a hearts 5. So I'm going to close this out. Let's see where we are. Close here. I'm on Oh So Delightful. It's just asking you where on your computer that you have this file that you want. So hearts 5 right there under my Oh So Delightful quilting bundle. I'm going to click on the plus sign and click on embroidery files, and notice there's a block by block and a clear blue tiles. I went into depth on that yesterday for our video, so I'm going to go ahead and just jump right to the block by block. We will be using block by block throughout this entire project. All right, so click on that. I use Pez for my machine. Use whatever format that your machine uses. And for the first 4x4, we're looking for hearts 5 in 4x4. All right, so down here, they're in numerical order right there. Hearts 5 in 4x4. Double click on that and it goes to the center. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it up here to the very left-hand side, making sure not to go over the hoop right there. So you can make sure that you can see the black squares. That will tell you that you're not over your hoop. All right, and then that's the first one. So I noticed I checked this out beforehand, and there's only 2 that are exactly the same. So that will be a little bit interesting. So we need to change all the colors on these. So I'm going to do it later because we're not going to do a copy and paste except for one. So I'm just going to do it later. So that's the first 4x4. The next 4x4 is zigzag 2. So I'm going to go to merge stitch file right here, click on that, and then it's going to ask us where that file is. Close out hearts 5, and we're looking for zigzag 2 in a 4x4. So click the plus sign to open up that folder and click on embroidery files. And this one does not have a CBT version. It just has the block by block. That's why it didn't come up. So you can see when you click on embroidery files, sometimes it'll have block by block and sometimes it'll have clear glue tiles. I can say that fast. And this one doesn't say that, so that means it's only a block by block. All right, so I'm going to click on Pez for my machine, and I'm looking for a 4x4. All right, and you can see, looking through here, you can see why there isn't a CBT version. See how it goes into the seam allowance? Remember I described that yesterday on our very first video of why some are called CBT and one are BBB. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and double click on this. It'll go to the center. That's our other 4x4. I'm going to bring it up here and bring it all the way over to the right, making sure not to go over at all. All right, so those are the first 2 4x4s. That was very easy. Now we're going to start on the 2x2s, and I'm just going to bring them in the order that they're listed so that I know what fabrics go with what. So you could even, smart thing would be to put them in order now. I'm going to do that real quick. So that first one was this, the yellow with all the geometric circles. It's not circles, but all the geometric shapes on it. That's the first one that will have that hearts on there. And then the second one, the other 4x4 on the right, that's this one that will have that zigzag design. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're just going to go down in order with all the 2x2s. So on this one, the pink one, we are going to do a zigzag 2 in a 2x2. So that's good timing because then we'll be right back in that folder that we were in before. So we're in zigzag 2 right there. I use Pez, and I'm going to look for a 2x2 right there. Double click on that and it goes to the center. Now this is the one that, oh, radial, sorry, the next one. So don't worry about it. All right, this one, I'm just going to bring it all the way over to the side here. And then that one is done for now. We will need to change all these colors. Remember, we talked about the default blues and default oranges yesterday. All right, so the next one, we did zigzag 2. Now we're on radial lines 2. This is for number 2, which is this one, the filler block number 2. All right, that one we will have radial lines 2. So I'm going to go to merge stitch file right here, and I'm going to look for radial lines 2. Right there, radial lines 2. Click that plus sign and then click the plus sign for embroidery files. And this one also does not have a CBT, so that means that the stitching goes off into the seam allowance. I use Pez for my machine, and I'm looking for a 2x2 right there. Cute. All right, this one I'm going to use my mouse button, not my mouse, sorry, my keyboard arrow to move it up to keep it in the center. It does not have to be exact by any means, but it just makes it so that I can keep it in the center so that I can get 3 all in one line. Doesn't matter, that's just for me. All right, so one thing is that this one we're going to do twice. So I'm going to go ahead and change the colors on this one. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'll do it at the end. That's okay. Just we'll save that just so that we have them in order. All right, so now again, the next one we are on number 4 because we already did number 3 earlier, which was that one. So we're going to jump to number 4, which is this red one, the sunburst, all right? And that one, we are going to look for geometric 7 in a 2x2. So go to this merge stitch file, and I'm going to close out the radial lines 2, and I'm looking for geometric 7 in a 2x2. Embroidery files, block by block, Pez, and then a 2x2 right there. This one makes me think of like a rock quarry. Flintstones, right? All right, I'm just clicking on it and I'm bringing it over to the right hand side. And you could get these all lined up just right if you want. I don't care. I don't think it matters. In fact, you could use this line here to line them up, but it's not going to matter. You do want enough space between those, so I am actually going to bring it down a little bit. Just a little bit, just so that you have a little bit of space for your fabric. And we'll know more as we get them all in. We can see what should be moved down. So I'm just moving them just a bit for right now. All right, so that was number 4, geometric 7. Now we're on number 5, which is this yellow one with the lines. All right, and that one we are looking for hobby 6 in a 2x2. I think it's going to be scissors. What do you think it'll be? Let's see. Merge stitch file. I'm going to close out this geometric. And I am looking for hobby 6, embroidery files, block by block, Pez for my machine, and then a 2x2. Scissors. I was right. I thought I remembered seeing scissors. That's super cute. All right, so I'm just going to bring this over here for now. Doesn't have to be just right. All right, and that was number 5. Number 6 was that other 4x4 design. We already did that. That's this one that is on the upper right hand corner. And so we are jumping to number 7, which is the gray lines. All right, the gray lines. And this one we are going to look for hearts 5 in a 2x2. So I'm going to go to merge stitch file. That sun is coming through on my eyes. All right, let's see. The sun is coming down, and that's why it's right at my eyes. Hearts 5, right there. Hearts 5, embroidery files, block by block. Pez is what I use, and we're looking for a 2x2. Look at how cute that is. It's like a little cross-stitch pattern. Did any of you do cross-stitch before you got into embroidery? I really, really, really want to know. You have to tell me in the comments on YouTube if you used to do cross stitch. I used to do a lot of cross stitch. I loved cross stitch. Fun. All right, so that is number 7. And our last one, look at all the room we have. We'll have to see if we fit that. So happy. Number 8, this one. So now on this one, we've already done this one before with the radial lines too. It's a different fabric, of course. This is fabric number 8. But we used radial lines 2 on our second design, which was this one. All right, that one we did radial lines 2. So since we've already done that, we can do a copy and paste. So let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the first 7 of them. So I'm going to start with the 4x4s. So right here, I'm going to close all of these just so you can see all of them. We should have 7 total. Yep. All right. So there's our 7 designs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to start on this first one. I'm going to open up the plus sign and I'm just going to change the default blues and oranges. And then I also need to change the turquoise, this last step 5, so that they're all different. All right. So I'm going to keep them all different just so that I can decide as I get there. So some are going to be yellow. Like if you followed the guide in the Kimberbell book, you can see that some of them are yellow and some of them are red. Some of them are that tealish, grayish color. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell on those tiny little boxes. But I'm going to actually make all of mine different so that I can determine that when I'm there. Because some of them I will want the design to stand out, and then some, like on the busier ones, I probably will use a background color that matches the fabric. So I'm going to decide that when I'm stitching. So I'm going to make all of mine different. All right, so here we are. We're on 1, 1. Click on that and then click on the color. And the first color that comes up is dark aqua. Remember, I talked about this yesterday, that in the preferences, I have mine set as Filtech Glide. And so that's the colors that come up for me. Your colors may be different, and it doesn't matter as long as you use the same colors on each of your steps, of the steps that you want to join. All right, so we're on 1, 1, and I'm going to choose dark aqua and say okay. All right, then 1, 2, right here, I'm going to click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is blaze. So I'm going to say okay. and then 1, 3 right there. I'm going to click on the color, and we already used dark aqua, so I'm going to use marine and say okay. All right, and then 1, 4, I'm going to go ahead and click on the color, and we already used blaze, so I'm going to use Oriole. And then, like I said, I'm going to have a different color for the stitching for the quilting on each of these. So I'm going to click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Sprout, and say okay. All right, so that one is all done. You can leave it open if you need to refer back and see what colors that we used. I use these same colors a lot, so I don't necessarily need it, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it in just so that I can leave it open so that I can tell you about the colors. All right, so we're on number 2 now. All right, so if I click on 2, 1, you can see the number right here and see it jumped to the second quilting design. So same thing, I want the same colors that are here except for this last one on Sprout. I want all of those different, and that's up to you. You could do all of yours in gray, you could do all of yours, or some of them join and some not. It's totally up to you. I'm going to have all of mine be separate just so that I can make that decision. It will stop the embroidery machine so that I can change my thread color. All right, so but the first 4 I want the same as what we did in design 1. That's really important so that they will do a color sort. All right, so I'm going to click on the color. You can see it's highlighted right there. And the first one that we used before was dark aqua. And then 2, click on the color, we used blaze. And then 3, don't forget you can always see them right up here. 3, we used marine. And 4, 2, 4, we used Oriole. Ahead on 1, 4 we used Oriole, so we want those to be the same. And then this default 17 turquoise, click on the color. We already used Sprout, so I'm going to use sea green and say okay. All right, so those 2 are done. I'm going to go ahead and close those, and then I'm starting on number 3 now. So you can always click on that just to make sure which one that you're working on. It once you highlight it, it will select it over here. All right, but if you do that, you have to click outside of the box. So if you've got them all highlighted and you click on the name, it's thinking that you want to change the name. That's why it does that. So you have to click outside of the box and then back on the one that you want to select. All right, so we're on number 1, click on the color. We know we want dark aqua. Number 2, click on the color. We want blaze. And then 3, 3, click on the color. We want marine, the second color down. And 3, 4, click on the color. We want the second one down, which is Oriole. All right, and then 3, 5, we already used, what was our last one? Sea green. We're on the 3rd one here, so I want mint. All right, and then we jump to number 4. All right, the first one, we want the same as before. So dark aqua. Number 2, we want blaze. And number 3, 4, 3, we want marine. And 4, 4, click on the color, and we want Oriole. And then default 17 turquoise. Our last one that we used right here, you can always see on the 5th step, we used mint. So if I click on this, I want the one down from mint, which is magic mint. You could also just count 1, 2, 3, 4 because we're on the 4th design, whatever works for you. Or you could even go through and choose colors specifically, but that just takes up time. All right, I'm going to close this number 3 box. I'll leave number 4 open. I'm going to jump to number 5 now. The first one, just like before, dark aqua. And number 2, blaze. Number 3 is marine. Number 4 is Oriole. And then number 5, click on the color. And our last one was magic mint. So now we want the next one down, which for me is cloud. Okay, and I'm going to scroll up here and close number 4. And now we're on number 6. Same thing as before. Dark aqua. And then blaze. And number 3, click on the color. It's marine. Number 4, click on the color and it's Oriole. And then default 17 turquoise, click on the color, and we already, our last one was cloud, so the next one after that is azure. All right, perfect. I'm going to close up 5 just to give me a little bit of room, and now we're on number 7. Same as before, click on the color. We want dark aqua. Default 2, we want blaze. Number 3, see the numbers right here. We're on the 7th design in the 3rd step. So click on the color and we want marine. And then 4, we want Oriole. And number 5, click on the color. And the last one we used was azure. So I'm going to scroll down just a bit. And the next one is light turquoise. Say okay. All right, so those 7 are done. But remember, we have 8 filler blocks. So the reason that I waited is because number 2 and number 8 are the same. So it's not this 2, it is this 2 of the 2x2s. So the 2x2. So this one with the radial lines, we want another one of those. That's what's going to be our number 8. So I'm going to click on that and make sure you've got all 5 steps of that design. So it's number 4. It's the 4th design because we did the 4x4 blocks first. And then of the 2x2. So there's 1 and there's number 2. So I'm going to click on Control C to copy. And then I'm going to say Control V like victory to paste it. And since we did it after all of the colors were changed, we don't have to do that last one. Now notice it doesn't look like it's there because it's on top of our other design. So we just click somewhere on the stitching and move it out of the way. A little too far. Okay. So those are our 8 quilting designs, and that's all we have. There's no embroidery to go on top of it. These are just our filler blocks. So that is all done. Now, if you wanted, I think there might be enough room to add So Happy. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't already tested that, but let's give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to close these out. All right, and like I said, we can move them around a bit, but first let's bring in this last one. And again, you can do these in 2 hoopings or 3 hoopings or 4 hoopings, whatever works for you. But I'm going to see if I can fit them all in one. I don't know if I can, but if I go to this merge stitch file, now we're looking for the quilting design for So Happy. You need to bring in the quilting design first and then bring in the So Happy, which is the embroidery design. All right, that's very important to always bring in the quilting design first. So the quilting design for this one is Zigzag 2. So I'm going to look for Zigzag 2 right there. Open that up. Embroidery files, Pez. And we are looking for a 4x6. Right there, 4x6. Now notice there's a vertical design and a horizontal design. I didn't mention this earlier. I don't think I did anyway. For So Happy, we want a 4x6 in a vertical design. So this one, 4x6, Zigzag 2 in vertical. All right, and I'm going to double click on that. It will go to the center, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. So we'll have another chance to try some other things. First, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it down a little bit. And then let's see, right here is our rotate button. See this rotate 90 degrees, this little blue arrow on the right? If I click on that, then it rotates it, and then I can center it to where I need it. Now this one does have extra fabric. This has 2 inches of extra fabric. So you will have, if you're going to be brave and try this to get all of these in one hooping, there will be fabric in the way. Some overlap, so we'll have to watch that. So one thing that we can do is we can bring this all the way down to give us a little bit of space here, and that will work fine. All right, so there is our quilting design. Like I said, that's the Zigzag 2 in a 4x6 vertical design. Now we want to bring in the quilting design on top of that, but don't forget, we need to change all of these blues and oranges. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then it will do all of the quilting designs together, which means that it will be less taking the hoop on and off from our machine so that we can trim our batting all together at once. That will make things easier. So I'm going to go ahead and use those same colors that we used before, except for that last one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on one, and just remember the colors we used before, dark aqua. Number 2, click on the color, we used blaze. And then number 3, click on the color, and we already used dark aqua, so now we're going to use marine. And then number 4, click on the color, and we already used Blaze, so we'll use Oriole. And then I'm going to choose a completely different color for our quilting. The sun is going down, it's getting dark in here. So I'm going to click on the color, and the last one we used, it was Cloud, I think. Let's see. No, it was after that. So it must have been light turquoise. I'm going to click baby blue, but I'm going to also open up this folder just to make sure that what the last one we used was light turquoise. So one thing I forgot to mention, since we did a copy and paste on this number 8, we didn't change the color of the quilting, and I am going to do that. So it's up to you. I'm actually going to change it to this baby blue so that we've got them all in order, just so I remember what color, and then I'll change the baby blue. So on number 8, this is the one that we did that copy and paste. So it's got the magic mint, and you may not want it to be the same. So I want that stop. I just want it to stop so I can determine what color that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on 8.5. You saw I opened it by opening up this little plus sign. So click on 8.5, click on the color, and the last one we used was what, light turquoise. So I'm going to click on baby blue, and I'm going to say okay. I know that we have it on here, but I'm going to change that, and I want to look at number 7 and just make sure. So light turquoise was what we used. All right, so then baby blue, and then I need to change number 9 because I have baby blue again, and I want to make sure that that's different. I'm just keeping them in order. That's all I'm doing here. All right, so this, now it's coming up. That's funny. It comes up as the colors we used before. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose Hawaiian blue. If you were to start on number 8 and then go to 9, it would still be in those sprout colors schemes. But since I did them out of order, that's why I'm getting this. So I know I used baby blue, right? That was up here in number 8. Oops, sorry. Yes, it's mad at me. There we go. Number 8, we used baby blue. So if I click on that color, I've got baby blue. I know I used dark aqua. I know I used marine. So I'm going to jump to Hawaiian blue. And again, if you did them in order, yours would come up a little bit differently, but this will work for me. As long as it's a different color, that's all that matters. And again, you might have where you already know what colors you want to use and which ones you want to join. I want to be able to make that decision later. That's why I'm doing it this way. All right, so 9 is done for our quilting. All of these are done. I'm going to just close these out. And then I need to bring in that So Happy quilting design. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. It's not a quilting design, sorry, the embroidery design. It's actually like a motif. All right, so I'm in Oh So Delightful Quilting Bundle. I'm going to close that. And there's my embroidery files. I'm going to open that, and then Pez. And it's the So Happy quilt. And we're looking for So Happy. Look at how cute these are. We're going to have so much fun with this project. And flying geese. I love making flying geese. The piecing projects are my absolute favorite. I love them. All right, here's So Happy. So double click on that. It will go to the center, and notice that we have to rotate it like we did the other. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Make sure that you've got all the parts. You can see them right here. All right. Also, it would be good to check it and make sure you don't have these colors already, which we don't, so we're fine. So I'm going to click that right arrow right here to rotate 90 degrees again. There we go. All right, now this is what I'm going to do. We want this centered here. You can visually center it and get it pretty close, or you can go ahead and click on 9, which is the quilting design, and click on 10. Oops, let's do it this way. So you have to hit the control button. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So 9, click on 9, and then hit control and click on 10. And then we can join these two, just these two. It will only join or center, I guess is the right word, the two that you have selected. So I'm going to go to Utility, and then it's Align and Distribute. And I'm going to say Center, Center, Apply. All right, and then now it's centered perfectly within that block. You can see that it did move the block though, and I want it as far down to the right as I can get it, just to give me some room for that extra fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and use the arrow keys on my keyboard, and that looks great. I'm going to zoom out by using my mouse button just to make sure I'm not over my hoop lines anywhere. This looks really good. And then I can go back up here to this H. So this is all really good. We've got all of the quilting together. We have all of the one embroidery design, and everything fit really easily in a 10 by 16 hoop. And like I said, you could do this in a 9 by 14 hoop easily if that's your largest hoop. Either way will work. If you have an 8 by 12 or 6 by 10, you would probably need to do 2 hoopings or more, and that will work fine, however you want to do it. So right now, look at, to do these, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 blocks. To do those, there's 49 color steps. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long night, right? Nope, we're going to make it easier. So you can see down here in the right hand corner, 49 steps. So if we go to utility color sort, right there, I'm just looking to make sure we did all of them. We did. I think we're all ready. So let's do a color sort and see what we end up with. And it says it reduced it by 32 color changes. So let's check it and see how we did. So if I click new view, remember I always recommend clicking on new view. Don't forget also about these tolerance levels. This is important to have the same settings that I have if you want the same results that I have. All right, tolerance is at 0. So new view will open a new tab. So if I click on this first tab, Untitled 1, we've got our 10 designs, all right? It's really, let's see, it's really 9 blocks, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 blocks, but because of that embroidery design on top of the quilting design for number 9, there are 10 full designs. So in Untitled 2, they're all together in one, and that's why it's really important to check and make sure Embrilliance did what you think it should do. All right, so if we click this plus sign, we can quickly run down and just check them all and hope that it did what we think it should do. So now we're at 17 color steps instead. Wow, 17 instead of 49. Let's make sure it did what we think it should though. All right, there is our placement stitch for our batting for all of them. That's perfect. And then our tack down stitch for our batting and our placement stitch for our main fabric, and our tack down stitch for our main fabric, and then we have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8 quilting designs, and 9 also. Perfect. Oh my goodness. And then we've got the sew, S-E-W. And this is the part that I was mentioning earlier that you want to check watch it when it first starts sewing so that we can make sure that we don't need to change our jump stitch length like it says on page 11. All right, I think it'll be fine. I've done lots of motif designs and no problem. And then we have our happy. So that worked out insanely perfect. Like insanely awesome. So instead of 49 color steps, we have 17. That's going to save us so much time. All right, so let's do a file, save stitch file as, before the sun goes down and I'm completely in the dark. So happy. I am going to call this filler blocks 1 because we're in section 1, and so happy. So that really could be also the name of the quilt, but we have the So Happy block. You can name this whatever will help you to find it either way. And if you do just the filler blocks, that will work fine. You could save that in your quilting bundle either way, but I'm going to go ahead and save it in my embroidery designs because I do have that one embroidery design along with the filler blocks. So again, save it to wherever you think you'll find it. You could save it to your desktop. You click up here and choose where you want to save it, what you want to name it, the whole bit. So let's see, hopefully I didn't change it. Nope. All right, so I'm going to say save. And that is done. If your machine's on, which mine is off right now, taking a little rest, then you could, if your Wi-Fi machine is on, you could send it directly to your machine, or you can download this to your USB stick and bring it over to your embroidery machine. Very easy. This worked out really well. I'm quite impressed with this. So maybe give me a day. Don't do them in 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. You do you. I love seeing them. Make sure to share your work. It's so fun for all of us. We all get so inspired every time that we see somebody posting their project. All right, this one's ready. a zip-up jacket that has a monogram on the lapel, but on the back it's got this great storm design. Both of them are really fun designs. I love this with all the different colors and the different motif designs. There's different parts of designs all throughout. And then on the back has this really cool storm design that has been hard to find. I think that I found one. I'll have to check and see, but if I find the storm design, I will add a link underneath this video. And my goal for Oh So Delightful is to find joy or good vibes, things that bring me joy. And today was quite a fun day. So I woke up this morning and put these socks on that Donna Dalton in our group actually knit for me. I don't know if you can see them. Look at how cute these are. They're knit socks. I love these. So I put these on this morning, and it was so cool because it just automatically makes me think of our Cristin Creates group and what amazing people that we have. Sorry, there we go. And then I received 2 presents today. How fun. So the first one, a big pack of almonds. I love almonds. I eat almonds for breakfast every single morning. I don't know if you know, but I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not very good at getting my protein. And so I literally start every single day with almonds. And a friend of mine, Kenny, sent me these. He roasted them himself. They're so delicious and crunchy and super yummy. And the nicest friendship card. Look at this. Isn't this so sweet? He's just such a sweetheart. He is amazing. He does these rides. He just did one last weekend, 200-mile bike ride. And we've done them before, but I don't have the strength for that right now. And so I'm just so amazed by him. He keeps it up all the time. And then I got another present today. Oh my goodness. So this one, look at this card. How cute. Isn't this so sweet? I have just the nicest friends, the most wonderful, awesome people. And she sent me, this is from my friend Mary, who I talk to a ton of times every single day. She's just the sweetest thing. Look at this. It's a pink bicycle shirt. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I mean, how can you not be happy when you see something like that? That is just amazing. So sweet. I love this. So fun. So colorful and so artistic. I absolutely love this. So very sweet. So many sweet people. And there were kind comments on YouTube this morning. Somebody said that my eyelashes were pretty. Like, how cute. Just so nice. Like things that just really make your day and make you happy. And so thank you for bringing me joy, each of you. Seriously, I absolutely love you. You know what else brings me joy? When I wake up and I see that, like, I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning working on a tutorial, and then I wake up in the morning and all of you have already done a bunch of the vlogs. I can't keep up. It's a little bit stressful, but it's also like, oh, look at what my people are doing. I love this. It's so cool. So I'm having a very joyful day, and I'm so appreciative of each of you. How are you doing with your goal? What is your goal, and how is it going so far?